Daniel Tribuzio, welcome to what is the first in a series of interviews looking back at some of the stories emanating out of the Pascoe Vale Football Club as we celebrate our 50th anniversary. Club captain and now an assistant coach. Your association with the club is a long one. As with many things, it would seem fit to start from the beginning and where it all started. I've been told you were the club's, how do I put this, least paid player at one stage. What can you tell us about that?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. I think I'm the only player at Pascoe Vale that the club paid a transfer fee for. It wasn't a very high transfer fee, but I think Lou originally played at Western Suburbs and had originally signed there for, I think, the 2001 season and decided to come down to Pascoe Vale, and Western Suburbs wouldn't let me go unless they got refunded the registration fee that they paid. So Lou was happy to pay that, and I think I'm the only player that he's actually had to pay money for. So it's a bit of a running joke here at Pascoe Vale. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it gives people a laugh. So
whatever it is, it is. You made the transition from playing to coaching only a couple of years ago now, back in 2014. How have you found the shift to date?
Oh, originally it was hard. You know, nothing replaces being a player and that buzz that you get from you know, being with your mates for 90 minutes in the zone. So it takes a little bit getting used to because you feel pretty helpless sometimes on the sidelines when a game's going on. But slowly your sort of attitude shifts towards playing to teaching people and to try to you know, exert your previous experience on younger players, and that's a different rewarding experience. And yeah, look, it's been really fun. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Going back to your playing days, I guess what would be some of your fondest memories, and you know, in general, you know, with your playing days, but also, you know, all round at the club, you know, since you've been around.
Well, it's been a journey actually. So you know, I came to Pascoe Vale in 2001 when the club was completely different to what it is now. It was really a small club that was sort of fighting in, I think it was third division at the time. But, you know, Lou Toner had recently come in as president, and he had ambition for the club. And from that moment on, you know, it was all guns blazing, sort of trying to get up the leagues. It was a difficult sort of journey because we had so many close shaves over the years, and Vitali Ferranti, who was who's a senior coach obviously now, he came on board a year after I came to the club, and you know, we had some really big games when we were in playoffs at Port Melbourne and at Western Suburbs, where we lost on penalty shootouts that cost us actually promotion, which was actually frustrating, and we really found ourselves stuck in, I think, second division at the time for a number of years, just really trying to get out of the league. And at the time, you know, you either needed to win the league, or if you finished second, you had to go into a playoff. The playoff games were fantastic experience because it was really the only game in Victoria at the time. So you'd have big crowds coming to watch you play. But unfortunately, for a few years, we missed out on penalty shootouts. So that was disappointing, but still great experience to go through. And then we finally sort of made the jump. I think it was in 2008 when Luis Trani came on board as coach. And we won the league, which was probably one of the most successful times I had at the club. It was a fantastic year with a great bunch of boys, and to be able to win that championship that year after all the disappointments we had in the past was a really special experience. And then from that pretty much moment on, really the club just grew in leaps and bounds. We're in first division for quite a few years, and you know, quite successful in those years, and then eventually culminated in winning the championship in 2012. And that was a real privilege for me because even though I was struggling with injury a little bit that year, and it's my final year of playing at the club, to be able to captain that team and win the championship and go out on a high was a real achievement for me, and something that, you know, I'll never forget. Yeah.
And tell me about some of the greater names that you've played with and have also been coached by.
Well, I mean, we've had a fantastic bunch of coaches here at this club. I probably could count on one finger, you know, coaches. I probably struggled here, but you know, we've had coaches. The name of when I first started here, a guy named Brian Sinclair that was that I liked playing under, and he really started the process of us being successful. And after that, we had a guy named Gianfranco Impellizzeri, who his professionalism and tactical knowledge was something that helped us sort of grow as a club as well. And then after that, we had coaches like Bogdan Bonk, who'd been around and won, played nationally for Melbourne Knights. But I think really the turning point for the club was when Luciano Trani became coach in 2008. His obviously coaching methods and his experience at the time being various Premier League clubs, and also having experience in the National League, his drive and wanting the club to take the next step, the next level in professionalism as well as the players, was really a catalyst to where we are today. I see that as a real turning point for the club. And then luckily for Luch, he got the Wellington job after that year that we won the league, and then we had like David Clarkson as coach, George Karkaletsis, all quality people, quality coaches that really influenced us in various ways to get where we are now. And then Vitali took over, and here we are now, sort of mixing it with the best clubs in the state, and I think it's being a respected club in Victoria as well. Yeah. So.
On the topic of now, you're coaching now. Obviously, you've moved away from playing. What are your aims for the future in terms of your coaching sort of aspirations?
For me, it's probably a bit up in the air at the moment. Personal circumstances are sort of with work and all that sort of stuff. Being able to find the time to be able to do the job properly. So at the moment, I'm sort of just playing it year by year at the moment, and we'll see where it takes me. Really, I'm really here for the club and love the club. I've been, the club's like family to me. I've been here for, 16 years I think now. So, I see Jim, Lou, Vitali as, extensions to my own family. So that's the primary reason why I'm here and trying to help them out now. Going forward, if I'm able to do that in some capacity, by all means, I look forward to it. But for me at the moment, it's a year-to-year proposition, and we'll see where it takes us. Yeah.
Daniel, I'm sure over the years you've played with a number of, very inspirational, very talented players. Why don't you tell us all, a little bit about them?
Yeah, look, we've been very lucky as a club to play with have some quality players, and I've been very lucky as a player to have some quality teammates at this club. When I first started, we had a number of ex-National League players playing here, in the name of Mickey Burlak, George Petrov, Andy Christoforo was a captain here as well, and even though we were in the lower leagues, they were way above the standard of the league at the time, which is why we were so successful, because we were able to get promoted with those type of players. Then moving forward, as the club got more and more ambitious in trying to get up the leagues, obviously, we attracted some quality strikers like Robert Spence, and quality players defensively like David Turkovic, David Minolar. Vitali came on board. Vitali's brother Paul was a quality player as well, and all had that that pleasure of playing together. And not only that, we're friends off the field as well. In 2008, when we won the league, we had a player named Danny Genovese that was a close friend of mine. I grew up with the guy, and he was really a huge reason why we got promoted that year. The guy was on one leg, but was still persisting and playing, and he scored the winning goal in the final game against Werry for us to win the championship. So those particular players stick out in my mind, because not only are they quality players, but quality people as well. Then moving on from that, and probably introducing some of the players that are even playing now, that they learnt from us older players and the culture of Pascoe Vale. And I think developing that culture with those type of players through the years they were able to pick that up, and then when we stopped playing, they were able to still pick that up and use that same culture of the club, the same work rate, the same leadership skills to be able to remain successful. And I think guys now like Joseph Youssef, Adrian Tallarico, Lucas Santilli, Mark Pinstoninsi, they were guys that previously played in those eras that were able to sort of counsel and teach the newer players that come to the club what Pascoe Vale is all about. And Pascal Vale's all about hard work, modesty, and just getting the job done. And those are the type of players that we like at this club. And that's all been developed over a number of 10 to 15 years from players just sort of picking up the baton as the years go on. So now, we're looking at those players to pass on that message to the next generation of players, and that's where you get continuity and continued success, and that philosophy of how Pascal Vale plays and how Pascal Vale wants to go about playing their football. So, yeah.
I'll ask you to look forward for the final time tonight. It's been obviously 16 years, like you say, since you've been at the club. And it's been a few years now that the club's been in, like you say, the league's top flight and the state's top flight. The club's obviously come a long way, like you mentioned. What would you like the club's future to look like?
Well, the competitive nature of the NPL just sees the competition get more and more professional as the years go on. I mean, it's pretty much only in its infancy, the league. So you've got to move with the league. You've got to become more and more professional. You've got to improve yourself. You've got to become better. So that's what the club is doing at the moment. And if you don't, then you'll get found out and you'll find yourself back in the lower leagues, really. So what I'd like to see for the club is predominantly a really good junior development base, having the quality coaches to be able to bring these kids through. So we're seeing them in the senior team. And with that, facilities have to match that as well. And that's something that the club's really working hard. I know Lou's working particularly hard with council to be able to get the facilities up to a certain standard, so our junior development can have the best chance in producing these players that eventually can hopefully play for the senior team, but not only just the senior team, but being representative teams in Victoria and Australia, and who knows, maybe get a representative player that's playing for Australia one day. But I know where the club's aiming for, and I know the club is working hard to get to that stage. And with any club pretty much in Victoria that has those aspirations, it's just a lot of hard work and improving and basically working hard to get to that point. So I think that's where I see the club at the moment. And in the future, I have no doubt that we'll be a very, very successful club. Yeah.